Good morning. This is Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. This morning we're live with Michael Plitt. He is the chairman of the Democratic Committee in Genesee County. They've got some events coming up he wanted to talk about, and we'll just talk a little bit about politics in the election. So, good morning, Michael. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Howard. Thanks for having me, and thanks for all the chats you've been doing. You're doing a service to the community, getting information out there to people.
Well, thank you. Appreciate hearing it. So, first of all, I think one of the things you want to talk about is you have a virtual candidates forum coming up featuring the Democrats who are running for the 61st State Senate District. Why don't you tell us about that?
Absolutely. This Thursday, May 28th at 7 p.m. on YouTube, on Facebook, just look for the Genesee County Democratic Committee. We'll be hosting a virtual online forum with the three fantastic women who are running for State Senate District 61 on the Democratic line. Primary in this race since 2008 with baby Joe Macy. So it's been a while that Democrats have had a choice.
Just correcting a little technical error to get rid of. We might have had echo early on. I think I just got rid of it. So, Michael, tell us what we can expect in this forum. What kind of things you're going to think you're going to cover? How you're going to be conducting it?
Well, first off, I forgot to mention Nate McMurray, the Democratic nominee for the special election in Congressional District 27. Hopefully we'll get some representation in our district. We need it in Washington. No more guys named Chris. So Nate McMurray will be making an appearance, giving an update on his campaign. But the format for the forum with the state Senate candidates, we had a forum online to get questions. We received a lot of questions. There'll be questions, and each candidate will have a chance to respond. Because it's a virtual event, it's not having a debate like the old-fashioned debate on a tree stump or whatever is just not really conducive. So, the candidates will be given a question, and it'll everyone will have a taste of the candidates. What's great about these candidates are they're all accessible. Everyone had an opinion on the presidential primary. Bernie, Biden, Mayor Pete, and they're all abstract. These three women, you can email them. They'll call you. They'll talk to you. You can really get to know them and get to know their stances. And I think that's fantastic. I can't hear you.
So I turned down the volume in case the dog barks. Doing a virtual town hall sort of thing or candidates forum, kind of highlights the fact that how different this campaign is, and candidates, I assume, are not able to, go door to door. You're not having your traditional coffee clatches and, candidates, having events. Do you think this has changed the campaign, and what effect do you think it might have on, from your point of view, obviously, Democratic perspective?
It's definitely harder to reach people. The candidates are having a hard time getting in front of people. It's down to mailing and online events. Before COVID, we had a fantastic event in Moon Java. We filled the space, and I would have loved to do more of those. I think people like, when they're able to talk to the candidates face to face. But this is the next best thing. The Tompkins County Democratic Committee did something like this. And I went to my committee, and the Young Democrats, who get a lot of credit, Sammy DeSalvo, president of the Genesee County Young Democrats, they did a lot of work to put this together technically. We just want to reach voters. I mean, voters are getting their ballots now. If you applied for an absentee, ballots are going out. So, voters want to know who these people are. And, I think we're open, and we want to give people an opportunity to learn more about these fine candidates.
So speaking of voting and absentee, obviously you're concerned about people being informed about how to vote this round. So why don't you fill us in your understanding of what people need to know for the June 23rd election?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. And there's a lot of information out there just because, people are real busy with a lot of more important things. But we are having an election on June 23rd. Thanks to the governor and Genesee County, every registered voter has received an application for an absentee ballot. It's not an actual ballot. I know there's misinformation. We are not doing fully vote by mail. So everyone has received an application for an absentee ballot. And if you are not comfortable going to a polling location, you put temporary illness. And you return that to the Board of Elections, and then you'll be given ballots. Depending on what your party enrollment. If you are a registered Democrat in Genesee County, you will receive three separate ballots, one for the presidential primary, one for the special election, and one for the state Senate primary. If you're a registered Republican, you will receive one for the special election for Congress, one for the Republican primary for Congress, which is Parlato, Jacobs, and Mahailu. And then if you're not enrolled in a party or in one of the more minor parties, you'll just receive one ballot, which is for the special election to fulfill the rest of the term this year for Congress.
Any special? You think this? How the campaign is going? I mean, Nate McMurray in particular seems to have been relying on, in the special election and then early on, he was relying on a lot of personal appearances, ground game type of stuff, getting volunteers out there actually doing a lot of work. And, while he's reasonably well funded, he isn't as well funded, say, as Chris Jacobs. So do you think that really affects his campaign, the way things have changed?
I will get to that in 1 second. I do have a few more election things.
Okay.
Our Dick Siebert and Lori Longany and their staffs as Board of Elections have been working really hard, and there still will be in-person voting, and there will be early voting at County Building Number 2, just like there was for the fall election in the week up to it. So check out the Genesee County Board of Elections website for information on that, and they desperately need poll workers. Anyone who wants to put a foot in the water to participate in the democratic process, they need poll workers because, as you know, when you vote, a lot of the poll workers tend to be older people, and they're just not comfortable yet, going back to that. So there's a need for poll workers. Okay, back to the Nate McMurray election. Yeah, Nate has a lot of enthusiasm. You saw that last time around. He has a lot of people who are working hard for him and believe in him and are just, doing whatever it can. And it's not what it used to be. I mean, Nate would show up anywhere and everywhere. You name it, he'd be there. So now it's phone calls and town halls, and I've never seen a congressional candidate who's that accessible. He's everywhere. And you're right, he'll never, his family doesn't have the money Chris Jacobs has. I mean, Chris Jacobs has unlimited resources, but where is he? I don't see him many places. And I wish there were more debates, and I know Nate is open to doing the more debates, but Jacobs, I don't know where he is, and I don't even think he's doing debates with his Republican primary opponents. Oh, I can't hear you.
Do you think that how do you think the lack of debates maybe helps or hurts McMurray?
I think it does hurt McMurray. Because Jacobs is relying on a deluge of television ads. That's what he has. I mean, if you turn on, oh,
Keep going.
oh, okay. If you turn on it's a boon to Buffalo and Rochester TV. Jacobs runs ad after ad after ad. But I think if you put McMurray and Jacobs on a stage, you would see the contrast of McMurray will give New York 27 representation. If you want to protect Social Security, you've got to vote for Nate McMurray. If you want improved access to health care, Nate McMurray is your guy. And so I think, if they were on a stage for people to see that, I think McMurray would shine.
We before we got started on the call, we chatted about the interview I did with David Bellavia, and of course, we talked a little bit about Nate, and the conversation was around the Nate McMurray of a couple of years ago, who seemed like a much more centrist type of Democrat, and now if you follow his Twitter feed, he comes across as much more party line progressive Democrat, or maybe the stereotype of what a progressive Democrat is. Do you think that might hurt his prospects in this election, or what do you say to that?
I mean, I think, the Republicans at a national level like to paint this boogeyman picture of every Democrat, and some of that came to Nate. If you talk to Nate, he's a very independent guy. The governor, Nancy Pelosi, aren't messaging him daily, telling him he's nobody's puppet. He's his own person. In the build up to him running, to everything, he's his own person. I think that's one of his strengths. He's out for the common person in Genesee County. I mean, who's going to protect Social Security? Which candidate is going to make fair taxes instead of, you saw in the stimulus package, a lot of the money, we don't know where it goes. And I think we need someone who's relatable. And I don't think Chris Jacobs is that kind of person.
So switching back to the 61st district, your committee has not taken a position on any of the three candidates, correct?
No, incorrect.
Oh,
Kim Smith was endorsed by the Genesee County Democratic Committee. Joan Siemens has substantial support as well in Genesee County. And Jackie Berger has her support is in Erie County. She's the deputy supervisor of the town of Amherst, which has more people than Genesee County. So, we have three candidates all with tremendous support. So it's going to be a really interesting race.
did you say the Genesee committee endorsed Kim Smith?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So tell me what you guys liked about her.
The committee, if you talk to Kim, she is a fantastic speaker, and even better than a speaker, she's a listener. And it's rare to have a politician who can listen to people. She wants to get out and talk to anyone and everyone anywhere. And I think that really impressed some of our committee members, her accessibility, her passion, and we want a voice in Albany. I mean, Democrats are in the majority. We need to have a voice in Albany, whether it's school aid, whether it's the tax cap, and Kim could be that voice in Albany.
The something you may know more about the district than I do. I know it's slightly majority Democrat, and she's from Monroe County. The other two are from Erie County. Do you think is there a stronger tie? Does this district tilt a little more to Monroe County? Will that help her?
No, actually, well, first thing, if you're a political science student, this district, State Senate 61, is an example of gerrymandering to the fullest. The Republican, we're clinging to a majority in the state Senate, so they carved up the city of Rochester into as many districts as possible. So this district goes from Amherst all the way to downtown Rochester. It's like a snake, the way it goes into the city of Rochester. But actually, I think more of the residents are in the suburbs of Buffalo. Amherst, Clarence, Newstead, those areas. That's where a lot of the residents are. So I think that'll help Jackie and Joan Seaman.
So Kim will have to really pump up her name ID on the western end of the district.
Oh, no doubt about it at all. I mean, Joan Siemens ran a strong campaign against Mike Radzenhofer last time. Joan Siemens was everywhere. She is an excellent, one of the best campaigners I've seen. She's relentless. She works really hard.
What do you? Which candidate do you think might line up best against Ed Rath?
That's a tough call because Ed Rath is a formidable candidate. His mother was a well-liked state senator from the district for a long time. It's hard to say, because again, we're really lucky that we have three fantastic qualified women running, and each one of them have different strengths and weaknesses. So I don't want to say one might have a better chance than the other. I think all three of them would give Ed Rath a run for his money in the fall. That was my good political answer.
Well, so a little bit maybe of a more pointed or tougher question or whatever. You talked about, Democrats control both chambers, and that because of that, you're suggesting that having a Republican really kind of does not give us the representation that we might otherwise have. But I can also see voters in this county in particular saying, adding to the Democratic majority, that's majority gave us the SAFE Act. They gave us the Farm Labor Bill. What can we and those are topics, just two examples that don't necessarily
Mhm.
represent even some Democrats in this district, in this county, don't agree with those views. So, how can a Democrat go there and be part of the majority and still represent the whole of Genesee County in particular?
Well, I mean, the way the system works is we'll have a voice in the room. You see someone like Tim Kennedy, who's a Democrat from Buffalo, and the power he has and the influence he has on legislation because he's in the room. He's a leader, and I think Andrea Stewart Cousins, the leader of the Senate, has done a great job. She does listen to upstate residents. I think some of the issues are real that you brought up, and some of it is talking points brought up by the Republican Party. Um, Obviously the SAFE Act is not popular here in Genesee County by a long shot, but again, I don't think the SAFE Act has affected as many people's lives as we hear. I don't think there's been roundup. Like, I'll talk to voters, and there are a lot of voters out here in Genesee County who genuinely believe that someone's going to come take their guns any moment now, and that's not, Cuomo's not waiting around the corner to come round up anything.
Good. Well, so Michael, I appreciate your time. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about this morning?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity, and I do hope people come out on well, first of all, you vote on the 23rd. And if you have any questions about voting, please reach out to the Board of Elections. They're there. They're accessible. They're, to help you. We understand it's not the normal process, but everyone should vote: Republican, Democrat, Independent, everything in between. And again, we're lucky to have three fantastic candidates running for state Senate. Get to know them. Democrat. There's 9,000. As of 2008, there were 9,383 Democrats in Genesee County. If they all come out to vote, we're going to win some races.
Great, Michael. Well, I appreciate your time and filling us in, and I always enjoy our chat. So good talking with you.
Oh, thanks for having me, Howard. Have a good day. Say hi to Billy. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
This is Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're talking to Michael Plitt, the chairman of the Genesee County Democratic Committee. And you all have a nice weekend. Hopefully we'll get a little more sunshine. So everybody